Hello and welcome to another Make a Code Monday video. My name is Max. I'm a programmer at the Innisfil Idea Lab and Library. And today we are learning all about the Microbit. The Microbit is a microcontroller made for education. It's designed to let youngsters write code on real hardware that controls motors, perhaps, more lights, or just makes the little screen flash and do fun little things. And so if you have a Microbit, definitely head to microbit.org and click the Let's Code button. And there you'll find you can code it in the Make Code editor, which is a block-based editor, or using the Python editor. And so this is a version of Python called MicroPython, which is made to run on the Microbit. We can write all sorts of code, but the thing that I'm really excited to show you about today is the REPL. The REPL. And so to access that, we're going to click this little connect button. And if you're using a Chrome-based web browser, it'll just work. You can see the Microbit there and click connect. You may have to update the firmware on your Microbit, but otherwise it should go pretty smoothly. When you're connected, you can see a little smiley face has replaced the connect button. And then we can click on the serial button here. And so the REPL stands for Read, Evaluate, Print Loop, and it does just that. We send commands which the Microbit itself then reads, evaluates, and then prints its output over and over again. We can click this here to enter the REPL or press Control-C on the keyboard, and that brings us to the Microbit's kind of serial prompt. And here, we can type in just regular Python functions like the print function, which is built in. Type in hello world and press enter. And then it shows us that in the REPL. You might notice that our Microbit itself actually stopped functioning when we entered the REPL. It's no longer running its built-in code. It's running whatever we send it. And when we press print hello world, well, nothing happened on the screen because we were just printing it to our little serial prompt here. To actually control the hardware, we're going to import all the Microbit modules. So from Microbit, import everything. You can press enter there. And now we have access to a whole bunch of stuff. What do we have access to? Well, the built-in Python function dir, for directory, I think, will show us everything that's been imported, all the modules we have access to right now. There are things that control the pins on the Microbit, the buttons, as well as the display. So, in the display module, if you want to check out what it can do, see its methods, we can type in display, press the period, and then just press tab. And that'll kind of complete for us everything that the display module has as a method. So we can see there's a clear function, which is handy for us right now. And there's a scroll function. So display dot scroll hi world. So we're sending it another string. Anything in quotation marks is a string. And then the method, similar to the print function, sits within these brackets. Press enter, and we can see the Microbit immediately responds and shows, hi world. Also, one of the built-in modules, or one of the modules we imported, I should say, is the image module. And that one's a little different. This one is full of properties. So if I press tab here, image dot, and then press tab, we can see all the different kind of constants, all the different properties that represent the different images. So if we go to just inspect what maybe the ghost is, it returns a string of these very specific numbers where the number 9 is a full LED on and a 0 is off. And so you could make your own images by kind of replicating this pattern, but plenty of images built in. And to see them, we type in display.show and then say image dot, let's say, the ghost. Very spooky. So there's kind of representation of a ghost, using the limited 5 LED by 5 LED Microbit screen. we can do something a little bit more complicated in the REPL. We can also write a small program and then check it out. And that's kind of one of the really exciting parts about this. Since we're running code live on the Microbit, we can inspect the different properties and things like that, write code, see if it works, kind of all in one go. And so if I make a small program and say if, I know that one of the modules was the button A, and one of its methods was pressed. So that would return whether or not the A button was pressed. So I'm just going to press that now. Then we can display show an image of the heart. And so, using Python logic, we say else. So if that didn't happen, we can display show the snake. So I did indeed press the A button. And so when I press enter to run the program, boop, we see our little heart. You can use these same basic tools to test out all sorts of things. If you wanted to inspect the temperature hardware on the Microbit and see what temperature it was, the temperature dot. Looks like there's no methods that, so let's just say it's a function that returns the current temperature, 28. So that's all pretty exciting. If you wanted to go a little further and save what you're writing as a file, you would click that connect button again to just go to the regular code editor. And so here, we can make a version of the code we wrote earlier. Now that we know a little bit more about the modules that are imported, we can say if button A dot is pressed, show the heart, else display the image of the snake. Maybe put a small little pause in there so the sleep will pause every once in a while. So that should be a code that runs. Let's send it to our Microbit. So now if I press the A button, we get a little heart, release get the snake. So this is just a quick intro really to the code editor for MicroPython on the Microbit with an emphasis on the REPL, which is kind of one of my favorite things. I hope that you head to microbit.org and kind of mess around with your own Microbit and see what you can do. And if you do something really exciting, of course, please share it with the library. Until then, have a great time and see you on the next one.